The second painting is called youth. It's something that happens to all of us, unfortunately. For some, it happens organically. For some, it's manufactured. So let me tell you the difference between something that happens organically versus something that is manufactured. Imagine that when you're born, you see both your mom and your dad, and you continue to see them up to the age 15 or 16. As my good friend Sigmund Freud would say, from the age 0 to about 10, 11, maybe 6 or 7, you look at your parents as your heroes. You scream, they come to your aid. You're hungry, they make you food. You have any needs, they'll do their best to provide those things to you. But then one day you go to them and you say, Dad, why was I born? How was I born? And you realize for the first time your parents can't give you an answer that will satisfy you. And you'll just leave your mom or your dad, you go to the bedroom and you say, I love my dad, but he didn't do a good job answering my question. And that's the first crack in your psychology, in your relationship with your father. Maybe my father doesn't know everything out there. And so as you mature and as you grow psychologically, something happens to you. Very much if you've read Genesis in the Old Testament, God looks at Abraham and says, Abraham, you've been around your parents long enough. Leave them. Get married, have children, build your own family. Experience what it means to be a man, what it means to be a husband, what it means to be a father. Cut the umbilical cord. Be autonomous, be independent. That's where wisdom lies. Experience. Life will crush you. And in you being crushed, you will learn how to deal with it. So at the age of 15 or 16 or 17, if nothing traumatic has happened to you, to your psyche, you look at your parents and you say, Mom, Dad, I think I want to move to New York. I want to go to NYU, have my own apartment, have my own friends, do my own things. I'm a man now, so you say, and think. It's when you walk away from your parents, but it happens organically. Sure, there are parts that are connected to the world of advertisement, peer pressure, the culture in which you live. If you come from my culture, you don't leave your parents. You're with your parents until you get married. And then when you get married, then you leave them. You go next door. And then every month you ask them for money. And then you say, where is my car? You promised to buy me a car and a house and a this. And the nice thing about that is when your parents get old and sick, there is no need for nursing homes. You just take care of them. The one that is manufactured, unorganic, unpleasant, profoundly painful, and it's like cancer that lives inside you. You've been traumatized. And whenever you have trauma inside you, it's like everything you touch withers, decays, and dies. It's like you've always had a bad relationship with your parents, but now you're 30, you want to have a companion, but you never really learned how to be social, how to be nice, how to be decent, how to be in any relationship. So you crap on everything. That's what I mean by you destroying everything that comes your way. And at the age of 40, you can no longer tolerate the sort of a creep you've turned into. You say, I just need to go to therapy. And your poor therapist, if he or she is any good, they have to spend the next 20 years figuring out what the knots are inside you. And very cleverly, should you be in the right place to listen, to hear, and then perhaps to apply, what you've been listening and hearing, then maybe you can kind of get over your stuff. Otherwise, you're stuck for life. So the unorganic, the manufactured, you walking away is you realize that your mom is never available, your father is never available, and you have to do your own stuff. You have to cook for yourself, you have to clean yourself, you have to attend to your own needs. And then you realize at the age of 5, you have been forced into independence. Not because you know what it is, you've just been forced into it. At the age of 5, you have to figure out why you feel angry, why you feel depressed, why you're lonely, why no one cooks for you, why no one cleans for you, why you were born if your parents didn't really want you. Why are you here? That's too much on the shoulders of a 5-year-old. So on the second painting, what you have is called youth. Like all young people, they drive everyone away. This kid looks at the angel and says, I know, at times you were guiding my life. I no longer need you. I can think now. I know what life is all about. I can understand the complexities of life. And I have a beautiful toolbox with lots of tools. Just in case life throws me an event that confuses me, I have tools. Just in case I suffer from loss, I have tools. And the angel, I suppose, pleads with this young man, let me be on the boat, I'll be in the background, fly in the wall. Just in case you got stuck, I'll help you. The guy says no. But you see, all young people have dreams and hopes, and they're blinded by dreams and hopes. They get drunk by dreams and hopes. All young people are condemned to have hope and dreams and ambitions, but they've never been tested by time. They've never been tested by life. And so when someone tries to educate you, to refine the things you're pursuing, you'll say, no, 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 Dad, you're a creep. Look at you. You have a father who's been a drunk, but he's strong to sober up. He sees you drinking. He comes to you and says, you know why my life is this way? Because I didn't have a father who would come to me and say, don't drink, don't smoke, stay in school. I never had a father figure. I'm a scumbag, he tells you. I know, but I've learned a few things, you know. Don't drink. But you say, Dad, you're a creep. If you think you're wise, fix your own life. Don't try to fix mine. And that's the position of all young people. What this young man doesn't see is, if he was to look very closely at the flow of the river, it's no longer a straight path, it's winding. You know, it's not very difficult to go to a party, see a very young, attractive thing out there and just go to it. It's very easy, it's a linear line, point A to point B. But then things get a little confusing. You have feelings for him now. It gets more confusing. You have emotions now. You have fantasies now. Then, with a good amount of fear, you summon up the courage and you say, I love you. And he or she looks back and says, I love you too. You want to be roommates? Absolutely. Our love will withstand everything and anything. And then you become roomies. After a week or two, you realize things are not going so well. It's no longer a linear line. They're confusing. You got to do things that you've never thought about, never known. You have to overcome a good amount of addictions, bad habits, so that she doesn't scream at you or you don't scream at her. But you see, the reason why we don't see those winding roads, confusing roads, dreadful roads, is because if you look at the second painting, this young kid is filled with pride, hubris, arrogance. He has his fist clenched upwards, one leg forward. There is nothing that I cannot do. There are no mountains I cannot climb. And if you look further in the painting, there is this Taj Mahal, this temple, this paradise where all dreams come true. Then I'm going to transfer to Berkeley. Then I'm going to go to Yale. Then I'm going to get a PhD. Then I'm going to get a job. Then I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to buy a car. Then I'm going to buy a companion. Then I'm going to buy a couple of kids. And then I'll buy happiness. Only if it was that simple. No one gets into a relationship to suffer a breakup, and they do. But you see, it's the temple that creates all these deceptions and illusions for us.